Mike, what's up, buddy?
There we go.
There we go. Finally, I don't know
What's
why.
up, boss?
Huh?
Hey, Sherry, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Hello, Sherry.
That's my North Carolina family.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. So, I guess you say my little football analogy, so we don't really have to touch on
Yeah.
that. What is our What is our? I gotta get this phone plugged up before I lose you. So, what is our topic gonna be tonight?
Well, we'll have a couple different ones, but I like to talk about this abortion thing.
Okay. Hold up just a second. Let me go to a different spot and plug this phone in because I don't want to lose you.
All
And
right.
then we can get into abortion. Hold up
Hey
just a
there,
second.
Sherry.
All right, so I'm plugged in now. Okay. So, what do you want to talk? So, where do you want to start at?
Um, I don't know. I seen that you posted about abortion.
Hmm.
You're against it?
Yes.
Why?
Um. Well, I mean, who gives somebody the right to take an unborn life?
The the one holding the child.
So that gives somebody a right to decide that they can abort a child just because they don't
What?
want it. I mean,
Well,
so
it's
somebody.
not. As long as you abort it at the right, early enough before it becomes an actual child.
I mean, but if does life not begin when heartbeats begin?
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a heartbeat at first.
So what are you saying? It should be aborted immediately?
Well, there's a certain for time period where abortion is okay. And I'm
Yeah,
not again. I'm late
yeah,
trimester abortions. I don't agree with.
and it's up to the second, and they'll let you do it all the way up to the second trimester. So that's all the way up to 5 to 6 months when a child would be able to live outside the womb. That's murder.
Yeah, it's
What,
really
what's your
not. I
parent?
mean, I
What
think it's up to I think it's up to the mom.
to
I
decide that?
mean, if you don't want can't bring the kid into the world because of financial reasons that you can't deal with the kid and you can't afford to take care of the kid, yeah, it's better off that you don't take the kid into the world.
Why was you not responsible enough to use protection?
Huh?
Why was you not responsible enough to use protection?
Good, cool, good point. Good point.
I mean, there's condoms at every store. In fact,
Um,
most places will give them out for free.
yeah. Well, I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
what gives somebody the right to say?
Early enough. It's not even. It's not. It's a
But
petri dish fetus.
what, what if your parents decided, hey, I don't know if I want to raise this kid. I really don't know if I want, and you didn't get a chance at life. So we can just say, okay, we're not going to give this kid a chance at life just because some mother says, I don't want to deal with having to raise this child.
I,
Agree
listen,
with you.
I think every woman has a right to do what she. It's her body. She can do what she wants.
I mean, I understand what you're saying about it's her body, but I mean,
Yeah, and
I
it's
don't
not.
think that.
It's not murder. It's at certain point. At a certain point, it's not murder. At a certain point, I guess it is murder.
I don't think it gives you the right to say, okay, just because this is my body, I can abort this child.
Why?
because I mean it's going to be a living human being.
But if it's not a living human
Yeah,
being yet,
I find it odd too that the people who are so pro-abortion, they're also anti-death penalty. So
I'm
it's
not
okay.
anti-death. I'm not
Yeah,
anti-death penalty.
a lot of liberals are, and it's so if according to them, it's okay to take the life of an innocent unborn child, but we should not take the life of somebody who brutally executes or
No,
somebody.
I'm not of that opinion. Absolutely not.
Uh, I mean, even the lady who yeah, I agree with you too. The point of
No, the
conception is
point of
living.
conception, no, that's some religious shit.
No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, they don't. The point of conception, that means the soul is in the body. There actually isn't a such thing as a soul. So
Well, okay, I'm not debating the religious point of it with you at all. I'm
yeah, because
debating.
that's just
I'm
bogus.
I'm I'm debating that once it's conceived, then there is a life there.
There's potential to be alive. I mean,
Unless
it doesn't have lungs, it doesn't have a heart, it doesn't have a brain.
but it will eventually have it.
But I'm saying before it eventually has it, it's okay to abort that.
And I'm saying it's not
Why not?
because it is eventually going to turn into a life,
But it's not yet.
but it's going to be.
If you stop it before it is, then it would never be.
So you don't think that at the point of conception that life has begun?
No.
Well, I'm going to have to
No, at the
respectfully
point
disagree.
of conception, I don't think that a baby is born is begin. It's not a baby right away.
Well, of course not. I mean, it's got to grow. I mean, but I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you on that.
That's
That I believe
cool. I'm not.
once once that conception has taken place, that is going to be a life, and no one has the right to take that away. Now, I probably will go along with it in the case of endangerment to the mother's life. Somebody tried to make the argument with me today about, well, what about a woman who gets raped and gets pregnant? And I said, well, I
Yeah,
would like
that's
to
a
see.
good point.
I said, okay, well, I would like to see the statistics on um, how many women have actually got pregnant from being raped.
I'm
I
sure
bet
that
those
there's a
numbers.
lot,
I bet those numbers are so small that
but yeah. Well, no, I don't know about that.
I believe they would be very small. I can't. I don't think that a lot of cases in rape, people are careful not to leave DNA as well. I don't buy that. There's all these people getting raped and getting pregnant, and
But I definitely don't agree with I do agree with the death penalty
oh, of course, I agree with the death penalty. I think there are some crimes that are so heinous that it
yeah,
deserves the penalty.
for sure.
Do you want to stay
For
on
sure.
abortion or you want to go to the death penalty?
Yeah, no, no. I just wanted to touch it. I just because you mentioned that, so I wanted to make it clear that I do agree with the death
Yeah, I mean,
penalty.
I just don't think that anybody, and I know that people say, well, it's the woman's body and this right here, but I don't think anybody has the right to say, okay, this person or this being that's been conceived does not have the chance of life. I mean, what if your parents, somebody else's parents said, oh, okay, I don't really want to put up with this, I'm just going to get rid of him now. Then you'll never have a chance to live.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know that. And usually it's the religious people that talk about it because they do with the soul and the spirit and
No, and I'm not that
the,
making that argument.
no, but I've heard the argument that religious people say the spirit enters the body at no, it doesn't because there is no spirit, there is no soul, there's no such thing. Sorry to break it to you.
Yeah, and again, I'm not arguing the religious point of it. I'm arguing that I don't think anybody has the right to say, okay, we're going to abort this child just because I wasn't responsible enough to use protection, um, or I wasn't responsible enough to um, put myself in this position. And on top of that, I know, you can't tell me that grandparents wouldn't take over and raise some of these children.
In some cases, yeah.
So I mean, I think it should be. Um,
I'm not.
I think
Who's calling you religious, Sherry? Me or Chris? I haven't said anybody's religious.
no, no,
You
we're
talking
not.
about Chris?
No, we're not. Yeah,
I
yeah,
neither one of us called you religious.
we're not arguing the religious aspect of it at all.
No,
I'm not
neither
arguing
one of us called you religious, Sherry.
from a Christian point. I'm arguing the point that abortion should be treated the same thing as murder.
Oh, I 100% disagree. But that's okay.
So death penalty.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure.
Okay. Um, but the problem that I have with the death penalty is
Yeah,
it it is not fairly carried out and is not carried out fairly in this country. If you are black or you are a female, you're going to get the death penalty, or you're not going to, or if excuse me, if you are uh, a black male, you're more likely to get the death penalty than a white person. If you are a white female, you're almost never going to get the death penalty.
okay. So you think there's some racism involved?
Well, there's definitely some racism involved when it comes to.
Good point. Did I lose you? Chris, send another request.
Yes, I think there's definitely racism involved in the death penalty because I mean they're going to hand it out, especially if it comes down, if you're black, they're going to give the death penalty that over what they are white male, and if you're
Yeah,
a female, you're rarely ever going to get the death penalty. I
right.
mean, uh, case in point to me, which I thought that the death penalty definitely should have been handed out, was when Susan Smith drowned her two children 20 something years ago, and she blamed, this was such a racist thing too. She said a black man stole her, kidnapped her two white children. Well, that's not going to be hard to find. A black man riding around with a 2 year old and an infant, and and she tried to play some kind of race card there, and she doesn't get the death penalty. She
I
should
think
have.
I think Charlie Manson should have got the death penalty.
Well, I believe Charlie Manson originally did get the death penalty, but then the Supreme
But
Court.
some law changed in California.
Well, no, the Supreme Court up under Earl Warren, they struck down the death penalty as cruel and unusual punishment, so then it could not be reinstated on him because of double jeopardy laws. But yes, Charlie Manson definitely should have got the death penalty.
Yeah. I also, if Lee Harvey Oswald lived and was found guilty, I think he should have got the death penalty.
Providing he would have been convicted, which
Yeah,
I
like
believe
I
that
said, if he was found guilty, yeah.
found guilty, yes, I would have supported the death penalty for Lee Harvey
Yeah.
Oswald. Um, I think Sirhan should have got the death penalty.
Yes. Yes.
I think, even though I think he was probably innocent, if he was um, guilty, I think James Earl Ray should have got the death penalty
Yeah.
for killing Dr.
Right.
King. Um, I
Yeah.
believe that the reason he probably didn't get the death penalty was because that was a turbulent time with racism in this country, and Dr. King was a black man trying to better the lives of uh, black people, and James Earl Ray was a white man. Um, had it been reversed, um, you know, Dr. King would have probably got or a black person would have probably got the death penalty for
Yeah.
killing. And just like because the laws was struck down here, the guys, I don't know how familiar you are with the case, but
Which
the
one?
one, the guys who bombed the church in Birmingham in the '60s and killed those four little black girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they deserve the death penalty. I mean,
And what did they get?
they got life in prison because at the time of the crime, the it had been struck down as cruel and unusual punishment, and so they got life in prison. And one of the guys who was convicted in 2001 is actually still alive, and he got four life sentences, and he got came up as eligible for parole 2 years ago, and they had a parole here
I
for him.
thought I thought something like that.
And of course they denied his parole, which they should have. I mean, he shouldn't get serve 15 years for murdering four
Yeah.
children on
Totally.
us. And like I said, I'm not a religious person. I was raised in a religious church, but for you to go in and bomb a house of God on a Sunday morning when these people are just going to church to worship their beliefs, I think that's one of the most heinous crimes that. Um,
Even if they were at the library, it's just as bad. Doesn't matter if it's a church.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, no matter where you're bombing it, but I mean, I just look at it as, the people who are religious, who believe in God, they were there going to worship their God on a Sunday morning, and and it was bombed because it was a black church.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Like they bombed a lot of black businesses, black homes here in Birmingham in the '60s. I mean, Birmingham was called Bombingham. I mean, there were so many bombs that was set off.
Shit.
Oh yeah, dude. There was like 50 or 60 black homes, businesses, and they just go out and just bomb these people's houses.
Yeah.
Just
The day King got murdered, Muhammad Ali's house was bombed.
yeah, and I mean, what were they? You're bombing these people's houses just because they want to have the right to go into a restaurant and eat and don't have to sit at the back of the bus. I mean, it was just I couldn't imagine living in that time and people
Nah.
that I don't understand how somebody can have that type of hatred in their heart against any race, creed, religion, or color for you to go in
No.
and
It's
bomb
pathetic.
somebody. I don't
It's
understand.
pathetic.
I don't understand that type of hatred against any race or it's unfathomable to me how
Oh,
somebody
I
could do
agree.
something like that.
But yeah, for I definitely agree with the death penalty. Abortion, I think abortion is okay.
Now,
They
another
want,
thing I do, take a stop with the death penalty. Um, I do believe this right here, um, that if you're going, people complain about, oh, they're sitting on death row for 20 years or something like this right here. I don't really have a problem with that for the simple reason that we have put, innocent people to death in this
yeah,
country. So I think every appeal should be exhausted, and I think everything should go to make sure that this is the right person who's committed this crime, and then once they have found that out, then I think the death penalty should be um, handed out. Um, and sometimes I go back and forth because is it better to let them live in prison for 60 years or to put them to death? But I think they're crimes that are so heinous that you don't even deserve the right to live
yeah,
in prison.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Um, and some of this stuff too, I have a problem with overzealous prosecution. I mean, you've seen so many prosecutors that they know somebody's innocent, but they want to get a conviction and they go after them,
Yeah.
and they withhold evidence. I mean, I've seen a guy this guy, I forgot who was watching as a Dateline thing,
Or
and this guy,
how about the complete opposite of that, Chris? Like OJ,
what do you mean? Do I think he
how
should have had the death?
the defense played their race card against all the evidence that showed OJ was guilty.
Yeah, they played and they played the race card on that, you know.
He should have been killed death penalty.
Oh, he should have definitely got the death penalty for what he did. I mean, he
Yeah.
went over there and brutally killed two people, and I mean, Johnny Cochran.
Anybody that believes that he's innocent is fucking crazy.
Yeah, because I've studied that case, and I mean, the DNA evidence was just so overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
I mean, his blood, their blood. I mean, there was just nothing to me. I would not be totally surprised if his son helped him do it.
I
I,
don't think that.
I
But
think there's a
okay,
possibility. I
you
think there's
say
a
that,
possibility.
you're just as I mean you wouldn't be surprised if it was just OJ either, right?
I, I firmly believe it was probably just OJ, but there are some things that make me lean towards Jason Simpson being involved,
Well, okay.
and because one thing had to do with his time card that night. Um, he wrote in the time that he left, and he was supposedly cooking this dinner for the Browns and the Simpsons, and they decided they wasn't going to go there, and he got really angry about it, and there is a picture of Jason Simpson wearing the knit cap that was very similar to the one that was found at the crime scene. And um, the theory that some of these investigators put through was that Jason Simpson went over there in a rage, killed Nicole. Goldman comes up, kills him. He freaks out, calls OJ. OJ knew with his power and his celebrity status that he could beat it, and he took the rap for it. Um,
Well, then why was OJ's blood at the crime scene?
um, yeah, I mean that's something you can't explain away there. I mean,
Nah, OJ killed those two people,
yeah.
man. He should be
No, I
dead.
no, I agree with you totally. I thought it was an interesting theory that they put out, but O.J. Simpson stalked her, would show up everywhere she was at. I mean, he had already beaten the woman on numerous occasions.
Oh yeah.
He was very abusive to her. He was showing up everywhere she was at. And don't take this the wrong way, because I don't want somebody to think I'm saying this wrong, but I think she actually,
Provoked it?
yes, because she antagonized him so much and was rubbing this stuff in his face
I
that
think she did a little bit too.
yeah, not by no means am I saying that the woman
Yeah,
deserved to be
me
executed,
neither. Me neither, man.
but I think that she enjoyed pushing his buttons, and she just kept, that they could get out of the way, buddy. That she enjoyed pushing his buttons, and she kind of provoked it to me. Um, I think Goldman was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, yeah.
I do kind of think they may have been having, maybe dating or something.
Regardless if they were or if they weren't, he was still in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh yeah, I mean, can you imagine walking up on that right there? I mean, I think what actually happened is there. I don't think that OJ actually went over there to kill her that night. I
I
think
do.
OJ. No, no, I don't. I think OJ went over there to scare her, and Goldman came in,
Oh, and
and
that
OJ.
triggered him?
Well, the Akita dog that she had, they said that from what I heard was I don't know how much truth it is. I think that OJ went over there to scare her, and Goldman walks up. That Akita dog walks out, sees Goldman, starts wagging his tail. That shows OJ that the dog knew him and the dog liked him, and then OJ blacked out and went into just this blind rage and then killed him.
Yeah.
Comes to, doesn't realize what he's done, freaks out, rushes home, jumps the fence, drops the glove, runs inside, tries to clean up.
Uh, and then with that book, If I Did It, come on, man.
That was almost an insult to the Browns. Um, you know, I mean, not the the Browns and the
The Goldman.
Goldmans. And I'll give the Goldmans credit. This right here, they never let that go, man. They never let that go. They followed him, you know,
Yeah.
They even went to his trial
Did
there
you
in
see
Vegas.
how irate that dad was in the courtroom all the time?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, when Johnny Cochran was pulling the race card, that dad was flipping out.
Well, here's what a lot of people don't know. When they brought up those tapes of Furman
Yeah.
making those racist comments, Furman was working for some kind of documentary about LAPD and how the LAPD was racist,
Yeah, I know.
And Furman was actually playing a role. Furman
Whoa.
was, yeah, this was not Furman's actual,
No.
statements about it. Furman was playing a role out there in making these statements. It wasn't like this was how Furman actually felt, and they turned that totally around. And then
Yep.
when they got him on the stand, um, and brought him back in there, he had no choice but to invoke his Fifth Amendment right because if he answered any question, then he opened
Yeah.
himself up for everything else. But I mean,
Yeah.
it was totally a race car. And I heard F. Lee Bailey say one time, that he used the N word in the last 10 years, and um, F. Lee and Furman said no, and they knew they had those tapes, and F. Lee Bailey said, well, he said I asked him a question that nobody in the world can say that they had not said that word in some form. Didn't have to be like a race issue, but
Yeah.
there's nobody who's not said that word in their life.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for sure. So I mean, and F. Lee Bailey said he knew that. He said as soon as he asked him that, he said he knew it.
Yeah, man. I definitely OJ should definitely have gotten the death penalty, no doubt.
Well, they made a mistake too. Uh, Marcia Clark thought um, that with OJ being married to a white woman and how OJ liked white women, that by putting a lot of black females on the jury, they would be
Yeah,
mad.
big mistake.
But yeah, instead, it totally backfired because they made that into such a race issue. Um,
Yeah.
and
That jury was a joke too.
well, I mean, the whole thing was a three-rig circus. You think about it, that trial went on for almost a year, and that
Yeah.
jury was less than 4 hours.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean,
and Judge Ito with his ego.
I read this book called "Inside the O.J. Simpson Case," and it was about 1,000-page book, and I was just enthralled with it. And it
Bugliosi
was
has a great book called Outrage on it.
really well. Anyway, I thought that with all these guys like Dershowitz, Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey,
Heavy
what's
hitter.
yeah, heavy hitters. I thought, man, this is going to be a well-oiled machine. It was not. It was a three-ring circus because every one of these guys were fighting for airtime, and every one of them wanted to be up there.
Yeah.
Each, who could, you know, um, cross-examine who and who could do this. And to me, the guy who was really the fall guy on it that they made look bad was Dennis Fung, the criminalist for the
Oh
L.A.
yeah, the
police.
DNA criminalist.
Yeah, the DNA
Yeah.
criminalist was trying to say, hey, it was contaminated because they was walking through it. Well, okay, they may be walking through the blood. That's still not going to mess the DNA evidence up. It's still not going to make the the blood up. And then, of course, Henry Lee did a great job,
Yeah.
trying to discredit. I mean, I love Henry Lee. He
Yeah, but
actually,
they definitely railroaded Mark Furman, huh?
Mark Furman was the fall guy. That I mean, I don't believe, and I know some
He
people.
didn't plant no evidence. He didn't plant no.
Why would they have to plant evidence? I mean, I don't really I don't believe that the police are really going to plant evidence on people. I mean, I'm sure it may have happened on some occasions, but I don't think the police are
Yeah.
going to openly looking for evidence. And what evidence do they plant? Now, there was the stuff about the EDTA preservative because there was blood that was found outside Bundy later, and it had that EDTA preservative in
Yeah.
it. That could have actually been planted. I'm not going to say that's outside the realm of possibility. I could see where there could be a rogue cop who wanted to solidify this case to go over there and put the blood there, but there was just too much. I
Too
mean,
much. Yeah. The
And then,
the cut on OJ's finger, and
one of his great friends, the night that he came back from the death, asked OJ, "Hey, cut his hand," and the first thing he said was, "Oh, I cut it chipping golf balls." And then somebody
yeah,
asked him, like, said, "How'd you cut your hand?" He goes, "Oh, I cut it in the Bronco of the car." And the guy's name was Ron Ship, and Ron Ship kind of looked at him, and then
yep,
they said,
he was a
they asked
cop.
him later, and he said, "Oh, I cut it when I broke a piece of glass." And Ship looked at him again, and Ship said he knew then that
Yep,
OJ was guilty.
yep, for sure.
But
Um,
yeah, this case got brought into a race thing that should have never been that. I mean, and it
but
was
hey,
just,
you know what I watched? You know what I watched, Chris? I watched that Tommy the Duke Morrison documentary.
what'd you think about it, man?
Incredible.
Yeah. It's so bad that the guy was so self-destructive.
Yeah, it's very sad that when he got AIDS, that he went into that denialist stage.
Yeah,
Like
and didn't take his meds and all that stuff. And then,
he was listening to that conspiracy stuff that says AIDS wasn't real and shit.
yeah, I think I was telling you about, there's a cult out there that believes that.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then if you look at the pictures of him at the end of his life and what
Oh
he
my
looked,
God.
I mean, he looked nothing like himself.
Oh man.
Nothing.
Did you see how when he first got it, he was just like, "All right, yeah, we'll deal with this after the fight."
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "No, there's no fight."
And then they was talking about, that he was going out and putting a shot in his penis, which I can't imagine
I've
doing
seen
that,
that, yeah.
and then going out and having unprotected sex with all these different women. I mean, it's just,
While he had two wives.
yeah. And I mean, and then his drug use.
But I mean, his talent was undeniable.
Yeah, it was a great 30 for 30, and I love all the boxing, ESPN boxing 30s for 30.
Did you ever see the Celtics Lakers 30 for 30 three-part
Oh, it was
one?
awesome. It was awesome.
Incredible. Incredible. Larry Bird.
And then the one, what was the one that the Bad Boys?
Oh yeah.
That was my team, man. And
Oh yeah, great team.
when they lost that finals and they refused to shake hands and walked off.
Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah, I love Bill Laimbeer too, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a rough house.
Oh yeah, you didn't want to go across the middle
Oh no.
with Bill
No.
Laimbeer.
No, he's gonna put you to the floor.
Yeah, and it was not. Yeah, it was going to put you to the
Yeah,
floor down hard. I mean, yeah.
definitely. Actually, as a matter of fact, that whole team was rough.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I love the Bad
I mean,
Boys.
they beat the shit out of Michael Jordan.
Oh God. I mean, how they let them get away with some of that stuff was just, amazing. Did you,
Unbelievable stuff.
speaking of cases,
Um,
did you ever follow the Scott Peterson case?
Scott Peterson. No, what is it?
Scott Peterson lived out in Modesto, California, and was married to that girl Lacey Peterson, and she came up missing, and then like 4 or 5 months later, her body and her unborn child washed up, and he was having this affair with this female, and while they was out looking for Lacey,
Yeah,
there
I've
was this,
heard of it. I've heard of it. I don't know much about it though.
you
But you know,
I have serious doubts about his guilt in that. Um,
yeah. What about the Jean Benet Ramsey?
um,
I think that mom killed that girl.
I think the mom killed the girl. I've watched the mom's interviews and stuff. I think she was lying through her teeth. The only other, I mean, here's the deal. Her room, her bedroom was on the third floor of the house. The Ramsey's bedroom was on the second floor of the house. So the only way somebody would have been able to get that little girl downstairs without waking up the parents or the brother is she had to know who she was going downstairs with.
Right.
Now, the only other person who I thought should have been investigated more was Bill McReynolds, who did the Ramseys' Christmas party every year. And he made the statement that Santa was going to pay her a special visit the night after Christmas.
Right.
Well,
Yes.
his wife wrote a play about a childhood beauty queen that was murdered
I know. I
and
know.
assaulted. Sorry, Bob, I don't believe you about Scott Peterson. There's a lot of reasonable doubt on that man, and I can get
I don't
into
know
it.
much about it, Bob. What about the John Benet Ramsey case, though, Bob?
But let me just tell you that she had wrote a book about, and she was murdered the same way, according to this play.
Yeah, I know.
Now,
That's
I'll
pretty
tell you about
fishy.
Scott Peterson. Um, Lacey Peterson, last time she was seen that walking her dog through the neighborhood, and then the dog was found wandering around. So you're gonna try to tell me that Scott Peterson went and abducted his wife in broad daylight and then murdered her and drove and took the body out and dumped it in the ocean? The only evidence they had against him was there was a weight that was found um, in the boat, and there was one of her a piece of her hair that was found in the boat. There was no forensics. There was nothing that could prove the cause of death, how she died, how long she had been dead. Um,
Yeah, I'd have to look into it.
yeah, look into it. And here's another interesting thing too. When the case went to the jury, I think the jury was out for almost 2 weeks, and the jury was hopelessly deadlocked, and they were deadlocked at 8-4 for acquittal or for conviction, if my memory corrects, or maybe 9-3. Well, all of a sudden, the judge comes in there and he kicks off every juror that was voting to acquit. They reset the alternates, and they come back with two first-degree murder convictions within an hour.
Huh. But as far as Jean Benet Ramsey, man, I think it was the mom.
I think it was the mom. I don't. I think it was more of an accident. I think it was something that got out of hand. Um, I don't think she went in there and just killed the girl on purpose. I think 'cause she had a bedwetting problem. But you got to remember too, um, there was the ransom note. Well, there was also
Right.
three practice ransom notes that was written. It was written on her stationery, it was written on her pen, and it was written in block letters. They
Yeah.
asked, and John Ramsey was a rich man, and they
Yeah.
asked for and they asked for $180,000 ransom. Well, that just happened to be his Christmas bonus for that year.
Yeah, I know.
Also, one of the things in the letter was, and that struck me is they said, "Come on, John, use your good Southern common sense." Because John Ramsey was from Atlanta, um, um, Georgia, and that was one thing that I thought was interesting. And it was written in, like I said, it was written in block letters. They
Yeah.
couldn't prove Patsy Ramsey wrote it, but they couldn't rule her out. But the other thing that I like to point out is who goes into a house, murders a child, then takes the time to write out a ransom note and spends that much time in the
Time.
house? You kill and what was the motive to go in and kill her?
I know.
I mean, you got to have means, motive, and opportunity. What was somebody's motive to go in there, kill her, and then write a ransom note when there's a dead when she's dead? That just none of it adds up.
Yeah.
And the grand jury that investigated that case, they actually came down with an indictment, but the prosecutor refused to file charges
Oh no.
on the Ramseys.
Oh,
There was a grand jury investigation, and they came back with a sealed indictment, and they indicted them on murder charges on John Bonet. But
yeah.
the Alex, I can't remember what his name was, the prosecutor, he refused to prosecute the case. I
Did he
think he
say
would have
why?
had, he didn't, he thought he would have had a very hard time getting a conviction.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, it only takes one person to hang a jury.
Yeah, I know. I
And the Ramseys had a lot of clout, they had a lot of money. Um, And the Boulder police, they were not equipped to handle that case. There's no murders in Boulder, Colorado. I think they had one murder in,
Yeah,
20.
right.
What they should have done was brought in these Denver detectives who offered to come in and investigate the case and had them come in and um, investigate the case. But, the whole crime scene was contaminated. 'Cause remember, John Ramsey searched the house, couldn't find the body. Friend comes over, then all of a sudden John Ramsey goes down into the basement where the washroom was at. Lights are off, and all of a sudden he finds the body hidden behind the washing machine. Just walks right up and finds exactly where the body was at. I
Yeah.
don't think John Ramsey actually was involved in murdering her. I think he was involved in covering it up.
Now, wasn't there like something at the basement window that proved that the guy couldn't have gotten out?
Um, there
Something like
was
that?
no there was a suitcase at the basement window that they were
A
saying that
stepping that would
yeah,
someone would use as a stepping
yeah.
stone.
But another thing too, there was no footprints walking away to the house or walking
Oh,
from the house.
yeah,
There was nothing, that proved there was no forced entry into the
yeah.
house.
Nope.
Now there was a broken window in the house,
Yeah.
and it was in the basement, but that window had been broken from the inside out, not the outside in.
Right, right, right.
So I don't know if that was something that they did trying to make it look like a break-in. They just screwed up with it.
Yeah. That's a trip.
But yeah, I think they murdered that little girl.
Yeah, that's sad.
Um,
Again, if she was found guilty for murdering her daughter, that's death penalty to me.
Agreed. Yeah, if you killed your daughter, agreed. Um, yeah, I think I remember that, Bob. Yeah, old cobwebs down there. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he's right. Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing
Good,
it up.
good call, Bob.
Yeah, good call, Bob. I forgot about that. Um, that's what we was talking about. What about Beretta?
What's that?
Beretta, do you think Beretta was guilty?
Beretta.
Yeah, Robert Blake was accused of killing his wife, Bonnie Lee Blakely.
I'm not familiar.
He was a star in the lot of movies and stuff, and he had got um, this. Oh, Bonnie Lee Blakely was one of these ladies who was a star chaser, and she tried to get, she was after. They think that the child that they had was actually Marlon Brando's son's child, but anyway, so Bretta gets her pregnant. He's close to 70 then, and um, they go to a restaurant one night. And they made a big deal, they said, because Beretta parked in a weird position. But everybody who knows Beretta always parked in a far away. So anyway, they have dinner. They go out to their car, and then Beretta comes back into the restaurant to retrieve his gun because he said he had left his gun in there, and he went back in to retrieve it, went back to the car, and somebody had shot her in the head and killed her. So it took a while, and they finally charged him, and they went by these two stuntmen who said that Brett had offered them $5,000 to kill Bonnie Lee Blakely. Well, when I was watching the preliminary hearing and I was listening to these guys testify, I was like, oh my God, this is damaging. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know how you say this. Well, then the defense gets up there and they start cross-examining these guys, and they just totally destroy every bit of their credibility. I mean, they were drug addicts. One guy had already been in prison for murder. I think they'd proven they'd perjured themselves. One guy had been a star witness in like 12 murder cases out there
Jesus.
in California. So they totally discredited the two stuntmen out there. They found the murder weapon that shot Bonnie Lee Blakely. Um, it did not. It was not Beretta's gun. um, and his fingerprints were on it, but there were traces of gunpowder on Beretta's hands. The defense explained that away, that a criminologist up there, they explained that away with, well, Beretta had been carried a firearm, so it's not uncommon for you to have some type of gunpowder residue on your hand if you are carrying a firearm.
Yeah.
And I think his jury was out for about, I think, 17 days when they finally, he was charged with he was charged with murder and then 2 counts of solicitation to commit murder. He was acquitted on one murder charge. He was acquitted on one solicitation to commit murder, and the jury deadlocked 11-1 on the second one.
Are you familiar with the Sandy Hook massacre?
Uh, a little, not much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not enough to intelligently talk to
Are
you
you
like.
familiar with the conspiracy surrounding that case?
I've heard a little, but again, I'm not. I can't speak on it intelligently.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about it. I think that somebody went in there and shot them kids up. But this conspiracy is that nobody ever died. That was all staged actors and all this shit.
Okay, I haven't heard that.
Now
And
that's doing
I do tend to, lean towards conspiracies, but I don't think I'm one of the Jim Mars of the world that believes every
no.
conspiracy out there. I try to wade through the bullshit and the um,
Hmm.
stuff that I know that's not true, or the stuff that's, like what you said to one of your family members. You said, "Well, if Chris didn't bring it up, then there's no merit to it."
Oh, I actually had to bring that up with somebody else today.
About the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah.
Did they watch one of our videos?
Yeah.
Or
They brought up that man, why didn't that dude bring up that somebody was shooting from the sewer drain? And I was like, well, first of all, the guy I'm debating is pretty smart. Secondly, because that shot makes no sense. And
uh, first of all, let's talk about this right here. So you're at a sewer drain. So you're going to lift the sewer drain up, pull a rifle out with people all around you, and you're going to shoot. You would also be firing upward.
yep,
So the
over the
trajectory of the
wind.
bullet,
I mean, you have to go
you would
through the
probably miss it.
windshield. I mean,
Huh?
you kind of would have to go through the windshield, no?
Even I believe, I mean, the trajectory you'd be firing at, I believe you would miss the car completely and you go right over
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
I mean, there's no
And I,
way to get a straight shot, on
I
that.
mean, unless you're sticking your rifle right out of the fucking thing, and who's gonna miss that?
I think I first seen that on the bit who killed Kennedy. Uh, Great
Yeah, that's where I
documentary, by
saw.
the
That's where
way.
I first saw it.
And I first thought they showed about how somebody could have done that and got out of Dallas in like 20 minutes through those drain pipes.
Yeah,
And I was like, well, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
yeah,
Because there's some picture of some people standing around a drain pipe or around the sewage pipe, which I don't
yeah.
don't
It's
know,
just.
but you know, um,
I think a
I,
lot of those people that were standing right near that sewer drain would have fucking said, "Listen, this is where it came from."
I mean, I believe like I still believe it. And I mean, I know you brought up a good point saying about nobody seeing it. When I said I believe there was a shot fired from the underpass, I believe it would have
Yeah.
been a whole lot easier for a shot to be fired there, throw the rifle in the back of a truck, take off. Um,
Yeah, the only problem I have with it is there's no evidence of it, and it is in broad daylight. You know.
well, what I'm basing it on is if the president's wound, throat wound, was a wound of entry, like the doctors at Parkland said they thought it was. The
Well,
only log the only logical place to me that it could have came from would have been the underpass.
okay. Well,
I don't.
where's the exit? Where's the exit if it's an entry wound?
I don't know. I mean, again,
See?
there's things I can't explain.
Yeah, I know. And you admit that.
Mhm.
And you admit that. That's
I mean, I can't explain everything. On there. Um, about the entries and exit wounds. I don't know.
but yeah.
So I noticed you took down our video about Oswald's getaway. You decided because I didn't really have much to concede on
I didn't
that. I
take
mean,
it down. I didn't take it down.
I looked for it the other day and it said it's been removed by the user.
Dude, no, 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 no. That's just because I edited it.
Oh,
It's up.
a lot of things that I will dispute on. Jim Marr says there's controversy about him leaving, but there's not a lot I'm really gonna dispute or try to bring up on Oswald leaving.
Leaving what?
Leaving the depository. I'm not gonna. There's not really. I don't really have a lot to say on. I'm not gonna dispute or try to say this
Wow.
didn't.
What does Jim Mars say?
He didn't really go into it. I was just listening to this interview with Jim Mars. He said he made the statement about when Oswald left. He goes, "There's actually some dispute about how he got away with it, but I'm not going to bore you with that." And I was like, "Well, bore me with it. Tell me tell me the conspiracy. Tell me what was odd about him getting away, his getaway. When he was leaving the depository."
Yeah. I mean, we know he got out of the depository, so
Yeah, and I don't have any problems with the official story that he took a bus and then took a cab or which or what it
yeah.
was by versa.
I know you don't.
I don't dispute the official story on that. When we get into Tippett, then I'll bring in a lot of interesting things um, about that. But
Chris,
we got a
you're a big music fan, right?
no, yeah, I love music.
Like classic rock and stuff.
Yeah, man. I
You
mean, I like all.
you you say Jimi Hendrix is the greatest?
Hmm.
Wait a minute, hold on, Bob. What do you mean Oswald didn't use suppositories?
Maybe he was just making a joke.
Not like the
Um,
ones that you use, Bob.
yeah, I wouldn't argue that Jimi Hendrix may have been the greatest classic rock singer of all time.
Uh, See, I don't think he's the greatest guitarist technically, but I think he's the most innovative. If it wasn't for Jimi Hendrix, he changed the electric guitar.
I worked at a bar. It was called the 22nd Street Jazz Cafe, and we used to have live music there. And that bar had been around for God, I don't know how many years, but Jimi Hendrix actually played at that bar in the 60s.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And that bar, I, you know, I don't believe in ghosts. I've never seen one. But I can tell you, when I would close the bar down at night and I'd be the only one there, I'd be in the back and we had the floor was tile and our stools had like the little metal things on them. Well, I'd
Yeah.
be in the back and I could hear like a stool sliding back, the sound it makes, and I'd walk out there and it would be oh yeah, this kid. So
Uh,
I would hear these noises and I'd walk out there and then I'd be like, where's these noises coming from? And then when I'd be the only person in the bar, I would just get this eerie feeling late at night and I did not like staying in there.
well, getting an eerie feeling is that's just in our DNA, but I don't believe in ghosts.
No, I don't really do either. I mean, like I said, I've never seen one. I was watching something the other night, man. This was so funny. There was one of these guys who believed in
Uh,
paranormal act. activity, and he thought this paranormal activity was going on in his house. So he set up these cameras. So he set up these cameras, and he went back and watched them later, and he found his 16-year-old son screwing his stepmother.
No way. Get the
Yeah,
hell
you
out
can
of
see
here.
that her
Where,
legs were over his shoulders, and his
where can I find this?
I think I found that on Facebook something, man. I laughed so
That
hard.
is great.
I mean, can you imagine going
Yeah,
back
yeah, this house is haunted, boy.
and then she admitted they'd been having sex for months, and I was like, oh my God.
You know, my mom swears she's seen a ghost as a kid down in North Carolina, and I can't say my mom's lying, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, people say what they want to say. Uh, I've seen some stuff that was real weird. And I was telling you, we had a house that caught on fire when I was a kid, and the I had a Bible that was laid on this desk or whatever. Well, the Bible that my grandfather preached out of was laying right beside it, and
Yeah,
it had his glasses on, and so one of my uncles asked could they go back in there and get his Bible he preached out of. So they walked in there and they got his Bible and they got my Bible. And when they picked it up, you could see where the Bibles were laying, just soot an inch thick. Well, my Bible was completely black. I mean, just ruined with soot and smoke.
yeah.
Bible did not have a mark on it, was untouched.
That's crazy. That's pretty weird.
Yeah, now I can't explain that. I
Yeah,
wish I, but I swear to God, that Bible did. I've got it right over there. It had no marks on it.
I believe you. I mean, it's just,
After it was, and here's another thing too, his glasses that was sitting on top of it, it actually had smut on his glasses that they wiped off, but there was no smut anywhere on that Bible. The Bible was completely untouched.
wow, that's
So if
bizarre.
so if there is a God, that God was definitely watching over that Bible.
I guess so.
That's the only explanation I could have out of it.
Yeah. But so your games went good tonight, buddy?
Oh, buddy, I was so nervous at first because, uh, the first half, Georgia just outplayed Alabama. And Georgia was up at half. Um, they were up at half, six to nothing on Alabama.
I
And
told you
then,
to start making your own videos about the football games.
well, I did. I made an out. I did. When I was trying to invite you on earlier, I broke it down
Oh,
and
I know, but you kept getting interfered by me.
yeah. Well, that's okay. I still did it, but anyway. So Bama was down 6-0, and then
Second game.
Georgia takes the ball. They go right back down and scores. Now, Alabama's quarterback for the last 2 years was a guy named Jalen Hurts. Okay, Jalen Hurts' record was 25-2. In the first half, he couldn't do nothing. He had 21 yards passing, and he had some rushing yards, but he could not do a thing. Well, and I said I went to go get me and my friends some McDonald's at halftime and get a pack of cigarettes, and I just thought Alabama was going to lose the game, and I said, my friend, I said, "Do you think he's going to pull Jalen?" I said, because this other guy he's got there was a stud. He was the number one quarterback prospect when Alabama recruited him out of Hawaii. Sure enough, they come back in there, and Tua starts the second half. So he had one series, didn't get the first down. Bama had to punt. He gets the ball, second one, and goes down the field 67 yards, like 6 plays in less than a minute, scores a touchdown, makes the game 13-7. I said, all right, we're back in this thing. So Bama kicks the ball back off, and Bama could not get off the field on third down. It'd be third and 20, third and 25, and they'd hit a pass play, and Bama couldn't get off the field. So Bama's got them backed up. They got like 2 sacks. It's 3rd and 20, and from Georgia's quarterback does an 80-yard touchdown pass, puts
Damn.
Georgia back, puts Georgia up 20-7. I'm like, fuck. So Bama gets the ball. They go back down the field. They kick a field goal, and it's 20-10. So going into the fourth quarter, Alabama's down 20-10. Well, Georgia had been throwing the ball on Alabama all game long. Well, Kirby Smart, I guess, tries to sit on his lead, and he starts trying to run on Alabama. Well, you cannot run into the teeth of that Alabama defense.
Yeah.
The greatest running backs in the NFL right now, Fournette, these guys, when they play Alabama, they'd have 17, 18, 20 yards rushing. So he starts trying, instead of passing, he starts handing the ball off up the middle, running into the teeth of that Alabama defense and punting. So Bama gets the ball. They go back down the field. They kick a field goal. Kick back off to Georgia. They hold Georgia. Bama gets the ball, marches right back down the field. Tua makes a hell of a play where he was being under pressure, thought he was going to get sacked, drills a spiral in the end zone, ties the game y'all with like 3 minutes to go, 3.5 minutes to go in the game. Bama kicks off, gives the ball back to Georgia. Bama holds. Georgia punts the ball back to Bama. Bama goes right back down the field and set up for a game-winning field goal, 36 yards, dead on, 3 seconds
Damn.
to go, and the kicker misses it by a country mile.
Oh God.
Well, Georgia gets the ball. It, in college football, I don't know if you know how it works, but in college football, in overtime, the first team gets the ball on. They start from the 25-yard line, and each team gets the ball. So Georgia plays for a field goal. So Georgia goes up 23-20. So then Bama gets the ball back, and the first play, Tua gets sacked for a 16-yard loss. It puts Bama back to the 41-yard line. And I said, it's
Right.
second 20, and it's second 26. And I said, oh God, that's it. We're going to get down there again. And next play, he drops back, and Alabama had a just four receivers going down the middle of the field. God, I can't think of the guy's name. True freshman gets 5 yards behind the guy. Tua hits him dead in stride. Touchdown, Bama. Saban wins his sixth national championship and ties Coach Bryant. I mean, just
Nice, nice.
one of the greatest football games I've ever seen in my life.
That's what's up right there.
And you know who Saban coached under, don't you?
Huh?
You know who
Yeah,
Saban coached under,
he
don't
already told me.
you? Yeah, he was Belichick's defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And Belichick was Parcells' defensive coordinator. If
Yeah.
you ever if you ever listen to these guys talk, they're just alike.
Yeah, you're telling me that. Um, dude, but yeah, man, that Tommy the Duke Morrison documentary, bro, he could throw his hands, man.
Well, Lennox Lewis said that was the hardest person that ever hit him was Tommy Morrison.
You can tell by the way he's throwing his punch. You can see it.
Now, what I was disappointed with was the Foreman Morrison fight because um, Morrison basically ran from Foreman. I mean, there was one time he actually turned his back to get
I
away from
seen
him
that. I seen that.
because they was billing that as these two heavy punchers and it was going to be a slugfest. And Foreman and Morrison just stayed away from him. Of course, I don't
Yeah.
blame him. I mean, like you said,
He
you know,
boxed smart.
I just seen too many fights where Foreman would be trailing on the cards going in the ninth round, and then he lands one of those
Because he's
telephone.
slow. He's slow.
That's why I think that even old Foreman would have, and you say Tyson would have swarmed him.
Oh yeah.
Well, but look how Foreman fought. When they would come out and start throwing those punches, Foreman just start throwing his hands up, so they'd just be
Yeah, I
hitting Foreman.
know. Yeah,
And
very awkward
yeah,
defensive style.
he would just throw his arms up, and they'd just be hitting him on the arms, and he'd be pushing
Yeah,
off, and they just
or he'd just be deflecting them. Yeah.
be deflecting them. And I think Tyson would have wore himself out.
Possible. Possible.
Now, Foreman would have had to have survived, that initial 3-round
The
onslaught.
onslaught. Yeah.
Now, if he survived through those first three rounds and deflected them and didn't take, because you wasn't gonna knock him out.
Who, Foreman?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, one time, Ali, but Foreman had gassed himself out, but you wasn't gonna, you know, knock him out, and
Oh,
and
he did.
yeah,
Technical knockout.
even that, that punch against Michael Moore. I mean, it was only like about a 10 inch punch, man. It caught him dead on the chin,
Yeah.
and as soon as
No,
he
he's
hit the
great.
ground,
Great
as soon as,
fighter. Great fighter.
as soon as he hit the ground, it was over, man.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
mean that's George Foreman, dude. He's not known for that for nothing.
yeah, I mean, as soon as he hit the ground, they knew it was over. Foreman walked right to his corner and got down.
Yeah, he probably felt that punch connect nice and flush, and that's why he
Yeah.
just walked away.
And then I love the Foreman Holyfield fight. That's why I like that comparison. I think it was a good analogy. Because I think I was behind on the cards, and then when I got you with Howard Brennan, that was when I had my round when Foreman hurt Holyfield, and he had Holyfield on the ropes. Because I think that was the time that I had you on the ropes in that one. But I went back and watched CE 399, and that was a brutal slugfest there,
Mm-hmm.
or a debate on
Very
CE
good.
3.
Very good.
Yeah. I think at best that I mean, like I said, I'll give you the edge in that debate, but I think on CE 399 it was at least a draw.
And we're only saying draw, win, lose, just out of fun. We're not really like,
No, because I'll admit when I think you did better, and you've admit when you said you thought I did
yeah, I
better.
know, but we're only saying that stuff out of fun. We're not trying to really compete, you know what I mean?
No, 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 no. This is just So did what that guy Jim Phelps? Did he block both of us, or
Yeah, yeah. He was
because I went
mad at
back there
you.
and I
He was
seen
mad at you.
huh?
He was mad at you for say that you showing your guns off and stuff. He's like, you
What
guys look like two punks. Both of you guys were stoned. I wasn't stoned.
was stoned?
Right now, I smoked a little weed. I'm a little baked right now.
Not smoked and I wasn't stoned.
Yeah, he said we were stoned. We were cussing all the time and smoking cigarettes, showing guns, and
Well, I mean,
looked at.
I have a concealed carry permit. I have a legal right to carry that weapon. I'm not violating any laws.
I know.
I mean,
Well,
I'm well within my rights to have a
but
firearm.
I looked through the group and I seen a lot of people say they don't like him.
Well, he's anti-Semite because I don't know if you ever read his post, but he's all the time talking about the Jewish mob that was ordering this hit, and here's when I lost it, like laughing at him. He was the one that believes that James Files and Nicoletti was the ones that killed Kennedy, which
Yeah,
if and then he has this guy named Marlowe that
yeah.
supposedly killed Tippit, and I was like, okay, how did you know that where Tippit was going to be and have him at the same place? And he says
He's
that
just an
Ruby,
idiot, man.
yeah.
He went on my page, dude, and took pictures of my accident and told me he wished I died in it.
Oh God, what an evil person.
Yeah, I said you're a really bad person, man.
I can't believe he said we were stalled.
If anything, it's just some weed. God damn. Right? I smoked some weed tonight. I feel good.
I wasn't stoned.
No, and
Yeah,
that night I was sober too.
yeah. In fact, I mean, I pretty much quit smoking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just financial reasons, right?
Yeah, and then I just kind of got tired of it.
So you trying to sell some estate?
Yeah, I was trying to settle my parents' estate.
Is that what it is?
Hmm.
It looks like a nice piece of land, man.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful piece of land. I mean, it'd make a beautiful house place. If yeah, I've got some inquiries from it. I think I'll have more as when it gets
I
spring.
don't see why you would have a hard time selling that. That looks nice, man.
Oh man, it's beautiful. And like I said, I'm getting a lot of inquiries about it, but I believe I'll start getting more as springtime gets here and people start getting ready to build houses.
Yeah. Or do you think the problem is maybe are you asking for too much or
No, it's appraised at around $54,000, and I'm only asking 45 for it.
yeah. Hey man, it looks nice to me.
I mean, the subdivision it's in, man. I mean, if it was in, I mean, these houses are mansions. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a
it's
lot
really
of
nice.
land.
Yeah, it is a lot of land, and some of the land up there is going for in these newer subdivisions for $20,000 an acre, and I'm only asking, what, 7,500 for it. So I think I think I'm asking a fair price for it, and I think it'll sell.
How long have you been trying to get rid of it?
Well, my father died on February 15th last year, and then I put off. I should have went and probated the estate immediately, but I didn't probate the estate for 2 months later. And then I had an offer on the land that I had an aunt that was going to buy it, but the lawyer who was representing me said, "Well, no, let's don't sell it now. Let's just wait because I don't think the judge will like it." And blah blah blah. Well, by the time it came that they was going to let me sell it, she backed out on it because her husband was having health problems, which I'm kind of glad now that she didn't buy it because with him having health problems, I would have hated
Yeah.
for her to
Yeah.
spend $45,000 on it and cause hardships for their family.
Right.
The house, on the other hand, is I'm having a hard time selling it. It's just so
Now
big.
where's the house?
It's in a place called Locust Fork where the land's at too. And I mean, this is like an 8 bedroom house. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got a two-car
All right,
garage.
Bob. Good night, buddy.
Um, this has got a two-car garage connected to a two-car garage to the side. It's probably, I
Listen
mean,
to the who, Bob.
it's such a big house. You got to have the right buyer. And I just fired I just fired um, the real estate agents that I was working with because they had the house for 6 months and didn't show it one time. Well, I'm thinking, okay, I
Oh,
should have at least had one showing in 6 months on this.
yeah, yeah,
So I fired them and went with another real estate agent.
yeah. Is it so? That's what you were talking about when you said the other night when we go to Boston. You're like, yeah, once I take care of this estate.
Yeah, yeah, I can't wait to visit that place. I want to walk the trail or that whatever it shows. Somebody was telling me that you could walk where all the historical things were that was taking place during the Revolution.
Oh yeah, I can take it to the Old North Church. This is like Paul Revere shit.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
love to see that.
and we can also go to the Kennedy Museum.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
Do you remember that? Which comedian was it? He was talking about going to the Texas School Book Depository, and he says if you go in there, he said you look at it, he said it looks just like it does in 1963. Oswald wasn't there.
Who was that? I did hear that.
I forgot who it was, but he goes, it looks just like it was there. Oswald wasn't there.
It might have been Bill Hicks.
It may have been.
I like his other joke about the Kennedy assassination. He says when a new president gets elected, he said they take him into a dark room and they show him a different film, not the Zapruder film, a different film that was filmed that day, and it shows a shooter from the Knoll, and everyone's
They're talking
smoking
about the.
cigars. Everyone's
They're
smoking
talking about the.
cigars in a dark room, and after the film ends, they look at the new president. And they go, "You got any questions?"
uh, Talking about the Knicks film. Have you ever seen that?
Orville Nix? Yeah.
And there's actually, and they're claiming the shot didn't actually come from the knoll. It came from that concrete abatement that was close to it because you can see somebody on there.
Well, Zapruder was on there.
No, 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 no. Behind, it would be more towards the right of Zapruder. There was right to the right of the knoll.
Right. Yeah. That that wouldn't make sense about where the way the headshot was though.
It wouldn't. So when I said that the other night when you said now my main guy Howard Brennan, I said, oh, I'm glad you brought up good old Howard Brennan. I'm glad you brought him up. You said, oh shit, what's he got up his sleeve?
No, it was I told you from the video about me and you um when we were arguing with conspiracy theorists and we were like, Donnie, come on, join us. And you were like, yeah, Donnie, come on, put your cards on the damn table.
And he up.
Well, you had your freaking goddamn accent. That's what makes it. Put your cards on the goddamn table.
Ante up,
And
Donnie. Put your cards on the goddamn table. What
yeah,
about
yeah,
when?
yeah. Oh,
And
and
what I said?
then someone says there were no planes. You go, there were no planes. So what the hell am I seeing flying into the buildings?
Yeah, and then what I say to him, I said, and he said, I said, well, who flew the damn planes into the building? The pilots?
The pilots, yeah. Oh man,
And he said
that's
something about that.
after we start getting a lot of videos in, man. I think the your accent and your fucking subtle like spontaneous humor is gonna become a thing.
Yeah, I'm very folksy, and
It's
I think
it comes out of nowhere. It's just it's very funny. Like I'm just catching on to it now, you know.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
fucking
people told me,
hilarious.
yeah, people told me they said, when you get going, they said you're one of the funniest people I've ever met. And that guy said that, but you know, well, what I see flying into the goddamn buildings?
Or when you were naming off the when we did the Daily Plaza segment and you were naming off the people that said that they came from the Knoll, you were like Beale Fraser. And then you kept naming up all these different names with your accent. But all the one I remember is Beale Fraser.
Bill Fraser, good old
Fucking
Bill.
oh man. I watched the opening of the mock trial today. Uh, um when they bring in Brem Charles Brem or something. You there?
Sorry, you watched the opening about the what now?
Um, the mock trial in London. When they bring in that dude Brem,
Yeah, Charles Brown.
Charles Brem, and
Yeah,
he claims he's an expert on fucking 10 seconds and whatever it is.
yeah.
Um, it's fucking hilarious when Spence takes that water cup after he
Oh,
takes
and thumps it.
after he takes the Mannlicher Carcano Woodstock, and he's like, it looks like Babe Ruth just smashed him in the head with a bat, doesn't it? And then he goes up to that plastic cup, and he goes, we got to go with the laws of Einstein, and he flicks the cup, and it goes off the thing,
Yeah,
and
well, we all know what happened. You know, yeah, flick the cup.
Brem's going, but sir, that's not connected to anything. Maybe if you connect a spring to it or something.
And he goes up and goes, all right, hit my hand.
Hit my hand. And then Bugliosi's like, this is ridiculous, Your Honor.
There was one I got to go back and watch that there was a witness that they had up there, and this was the one that Spence did the best job on. He tore this guy apart. I forgot which witness it was. Oh, no, I tell you, I thought he tore Dr. Perry apart.
What was it about the brain?
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
and then I mean, I thought he destroyed Perry because Perry started. He goes, "Oh, so you laugh, doctors? You think this is funny?"
Yeah, he did. He did.
You know, that was his best to me. I thought he could have did a lot better job when he had Cyril up there. Um,
Yeah, because he could have worked Cyril, because Cyril can
yeah,
go on and on and on.
yeah, I thought he did not do a good job. I mean, he did okay with Cyril, but he could have did a lot better with Cyril.
Yeah,
I mean, because Bugliosi was prepared for Cyril.
yeah,
You want me to? You're asking me to account for all the bullets?
yeah. But you smell a rat, don't you, Cyril?
You got to smell a rat here, don't you, Cyril? Yeah. You're asking me to account for all the bullets? So you're the only one who had the integrity to come up here and be honest about it. He goes, you bring those doctors in.
Yeah, Cyril's awesome. I love Cyril.
Yeah, but I do like when Billy Elsa said that. Um, but you kind of smell a rat here, don't you,
Yeah, yeah,
Cyril?
yeah, 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 yeah.
You're asking me to account for all the bullets, Mr. Bugliosi?
Yeah,
You know there was uh, uh, fragments found in the car, Mr. Bugliosi.
yeah. Bugliosi, I like when he's got Buell Frazier and he says, "Now you had no reason to suspect that Lee Harvey Oswald was gonna shoot the president or anything, right?" And Buell's like, "No, sir." And he goes, "So you didn't pay much attention to that package, right, sir? Right?" And he goes, "No, sir, I didn't." And he goes, "And when Oswald was walking ahead of you into the depository, you said he had it cupped under his hand and in his armpit." And Buell said, "I believe so." And then he said, "But it could have been protruding out in front of him and you wouldn't have known, right?" And he goes, "Yes, sir, that's true." Bugliosi's just a pit bull, man. He's
Oh
very,
yeah, Bugliosi.
he's
Yeah, I
good
mean
at
when
his job.
Bugliosi. Yeah, if Spence would have taken that more serious,
I think
'cause I
he
remember
did take it serious. I don't know.
Spence kind of took it more as a joke. Bugliosi came to battle. I
Yeah,
mean, because that one time it was really foolish. When Buglios Spence was reading something, and Buglios goes, "Where are you reading from? Where are you reading from?" And
yeah,
finally Spence goes, "Here, let's read it together." And the judge was like, "Hold up, hold up." He goes, "Look, it warms the cockles of my heart to
yeah,
see you
yeah,
two getting along."
yeah, yeah. It's actually
But
good. It's good shit.
Bugliosi's closing arguments was so good. He goes,
Oh, dude, I know.
he's did this right here, but he can't put the hat on anybody. And then Spence's closing arguments, I was like, here's your last chance. This is your last opportunity
Yeah.
to attack the government's case. And you come up with that stupid analogy, which I still don't.
His opening argument's good though, Spence.
Yeah, Spence's opening arguments was really good.
With the closet door that's locked.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually good. I like that.
I like what he got up there. And he goes, Your Honor, I hate to be petty, but I think that something along the lines of, we should treat everybody with respect, and I just think that, we should he should be referred to as doctor instead of his first name. And judge said, I'll sustain that. You refer to him as doctor because I think Billy Ocean and Searle was such good friends. They was
They
on a first
are,
name
yeah.
basis. Yeah, they were on a first name basis. But I do love how Billy O.C. said that. But you kind of smell a rat here, right, Cyril?
That is good. I was watching another debate with not Oliver Stone, but another Stone who's a conspiracy guy with the Kennedy case. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Uh, no, I'm not sure.
Well, he's one of the ones that think it's LBJ.
Oh, yeah. I,
But
yeah.
he debates Posner, Gerald Posner.
I've actually got his book. I've never read it.
What, case closed?
Yeah.
Excellent. Read it. it shows you how fucked up Oswald was as a child.
Well, I mean, yeah, Oswald did have a difficult, childhood.
Yeah, very. I mean, 13 schools in like a small amount of time. He kept changing schools. He threw a butcher knife at his brother. He punched his mother in the face. And they get into when he went to I know you don't believe that he tried to kill Walker, but when he came back from killing Walker thinking he did it and he found out that he didn't succeed. Marina was like, "Right, we're getting out of Texas. We're going back to your hometown. We're going to New Orleans." And that's when they went over there. And uh what the hell? And the way he's over there with, he started the Fair Play for Cuba Committee organization, and
Right.
he was the president and the only member.
From Guy Bannister's office.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but if you notice, he gets arrested there,
Yeah.
and then he goes on TV,
Yes. And
and it's
he was
high,
not a
hey,
communist. He
Chris,
was a Marxist Leninist.
highly intelligent.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was very keen. He was very much into politics and revolution.
And he actually liked Kennedy.
Yeah, there was no I mean, let's say he did kill Kennedy. He had no personal hate. He just wanted to throw a cog in the wheel. But uh
The patsy.
yeah, yeah. I just watched some good stuff on him. But highly intelligent though. Um Before he went to Mexico, he had came up with an idea to hijack a plane with Marina.
I think I've heard that.
Yeah.
One answer that he gave that always kind of troubled me was during the midnight press conference.
What?
And they asked him, they said, "Did you kill the president?" And he said, "No,
Oh,
I've not been charged with that. The first I heard
I
about it
know his
was when
exact words. No, sir, I have not been charged with that. The first time I heard about it was when the newspaper man in the hall,
asked me that question."
and his voice crackles
Yeah.
when he says the newspaper man in the hall.
He said, "Yeah," and he said, "No, he said, no, sir, I've not been charged with that." Um, but I thought he seemed pretty calm for a man up under that type of
And then you hear the guy go, "What happened to your face?" And he goes, "A policeman hit me."
a policeman hit me, and it kind of made him sound like they was feeling sorry for himself.
Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get into the interrogation and the lineups and
Oh, but I have a one of my teachers from back home in Boston uh looked up our videos and they said he's like, "Hey, I really enjoyed you and your friend's podcast on boxing, and you guys' JFK debates are awesome."
really.
Yeah, my history teacher from back home.
Well, I mean, we're getting a lot of views on Facebook. I was looking at some the other night. I mean, there's 90 views,
Dude,
157
that's
views,
yeah, that's sweet.
and we need to invite all of our friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah. I've already got it. I've already put it up on Instagram. I put it up in the JFK group, but Jim Phelps was raining on our parade. He said we're a disgrace to JFK research. Listen,
The first time I think I put a post on there, and I didn't even respond back to it. But he replied to my comment, "Well, this case was solved years ago." I'm
yeah,
like, really?
you told me that. Yeah, he said that me and you are a complete disgrace to the JFK researchers. I guarantee me and you know more about it than he does.
No, absolutely. I mean, remember who goes in this Jewish mafia hit is
Yeah,
just,
buddy, you're way off.
I mean, and you're talking about some low-level mobster who ran a nightclub that he ordered all this and flew this out. I mean, if it was a mob hit, it would have been ordered by Sam Giancani or Carlos Marcella or
Yeah,
Hoffa.
not Jack
I mean,
Ruby.
not by Jack Ruby, not by some, you know, bag man for the Dallas mob and, some low-level gangster. I mean, that's just ludicrous.
Unbelievable.
And,
Um,
think that what Phelps was his theory is that JFK didn't want is didn't want Israel to have
nuclear weapons.
nuclear weapons, so therefore they killed him over that. I mean, okay, that's
Um,
no. I mean, I believe in my conspiracy theories is that he was killed because he was going to get us out of Vietnam.
yeah, but yeah, your view is a lot more fucking
Plausible.
yeah. I don't know. Have you ever heard of the JFK YouTube channel, JFK Forum?
I don't think so.
Dude, they got interviews with a lot of the with everybody in the case, but they got one or two good ones with the Parkland doctors. And it's very interesting to hear what they got to say.
I'll have to check that out. I mean, because Parkland's where I've got to help close the deal on this.
Yeah. It's very interesting to hear what they got to say.
I love it when you said that your family was all in on me. I was like Kevin Costner to
Yeah.
him.
That burst a hole in my bubble big time.
Well, if they was all conspiracy theories, I mean, you
Yeah,
should have
I
known
know,
those
I know, I know. But I
that
did pretty
say,
good too.
"I thought you did great." I mean, I thought you did a great job of just, disproving it. But what you said what I was saying was gospel to them because
Gospel.
they was not going to entertain any other thoughts.
No, no. I'm brainwashed.
What did they think about where I said the shooters came from?
They think that the knoll they think you were on, but the underpass one they didn't. When I brought up the point like broad daylight, no one's seen this guy. They kind of were like, yeah, good point, good point.
What about the Daltex building?
They weren't aware of what the Daltex building was. I had to explain, but that would now even to me that would be a way better spot for a conspiracy sniper to be. Because
Yeah.
not only is it a good spot, it's also behind the president, which helps frame Oswald.
hmm
You know,
what did they think about when the shooters I named?
they weren't familiar enough to know.
They never heard of Roscoe White, Jack Lawrence.
No, no.
What about what? Well, I know you said your brother raised his eyebrows, but when I said Tippit may have been the grassy knoll shooter,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even I raised my eyebrows when you brought that up. I've never heard that one.
you'd never heard that one before?
No, not until you said it.
Well, I mean, and I'm going by like you made a point too. I mean, I'm going by the photo, but like you said, you could draw up that photo and it could probably look. however you wanted it to look.
Yeah,
But
I don't see anything in that photo.
well, when they blow it up, it bears a striking resemblance to Tippett. Um,
Yeah, but you know how when they blow it up and then they say, okay, so right in here is where they see the man, and then they put that image on top of it to show you where the man is, and then they
mhm.
take the image away. I don't see the man.
I see a silhouette there.
But that doesn't completely discredit that there's a no shooter.
No, it doesn't.
But
I mean, I know you hate it when I quote it, but 26 trained personnel saw with their own eyes the back of the president's head blasted out.
yeah, and we're
There's
gonna
a
get into this story
doctor.
soon because Thursday, my friend, these casts are getting cut off.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
I'll start on Parkland then.
oh yeah.
I mean, because you got a lot to explain.
I think we both have a lot to explain, my friend.
Well, the thing I'll say about the difference between Parkland and Bethesda is you've got three doctors at Bethesda. I've got a whole lot of more doctors at Parkland.
Yeah, you do. I think
And what there was,
I think that'll be my hardest battle with you.
I think that one will, and I think Tippett's going to be difficult for you too.
Yeah, I still think Parkland will be my hardest though.
Well, you'll wait till I get into Tippett because I've got a lot of stuff with Tippett that once I started
Chris,
investigating
I
that.
know I know who I'm going up against here. Trust me. I will be prepared. It's like
Okay.
if I was playing one-on-one basketball against Joe Schmo, I wouldn't take it so seriously. But if I was playing against Larry Bird, like I am in this case, then I am going to be well prepared.
Yeah.
Granted, Larry
Uh,
Bird would beat my ass in basketball.
yeah. But it's going to be. I'll be glad when the cast come off and you can start writing. And
So I was looking into some of the Trump shit. Jobs are he's doing good with the economy and jobs.
stock market's an all-time high. Consumer spending's up. Job growth is growing at huge numbers. But yet he doesn't get credit for it.
Well, I'm giving him credit for it, and I'm not even a fucking fan of his presidency. But you got to give credit where credit's due.
Well, that's the point I make out to people is when they start, saying, they criticize him for this. I'm like, well, okay, well, if you're gonna criticize him for this, then you got to give him credit or president credit for something, when they're doing good. You can't
Yeah,
say, oh, it was the other guy.
yeah.
You know, if you're gonna blame something on Bush from Obama, then you can't blame something on Trump.
No,
You can't have both ways.
no. I mean, of course he does some crazy shit with his tweets, and he's a fucking he's an egomaniac. But hey, man, numbers speak for themselves. I don't like that he's a climate change denier, though. That spooks me out.
Hey, I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry, lost you for a second.
yeah.
Um, do you know I read this thing that, and I kind of believe it, that Trump didn't expect to win, and then when those numbers started coming in that night, and they realized he was going to win, that Trump went into a rage, and Melania started crying.
I knew he was gonna win.
Oh, I did too. I knew there was no doubt in my mind. I was
Uh,
looking at those cracks, man. I mean, because there were people that was going out there that was standing in line for 7 hours waiting for him to show up.
Yeah,
There'd be 25,000 people out there listening to him speak with 15,000 people outside who couldn't get in. So you know if somebody was going to stand in line for 7 hours to hear him, they damn sure was going to go show up and vote.
I think it's hilarious how those ultra liberals were already having celebration parties for Hillary.
Oh yeah, they thought it was going to be over by 8 o'clock that night.
Yeah. Well, you know what I don't like about Trump though? He's a climate change denier. That bothers me.
I'm not all in on the climate change stuff.
What?
I'm not all in on the climate change stuff. I don't believe there's as much as people say there is.
Why not?
Well, I'm looking at how cold it is right here in Alabama, and then last summer we
Climate
barely
change
got
doesn't have
over.
to the climate change doesn't have to do with temperature. It's something totally different. I mean, 99% of the scientists are in
All right.
agreement.
Well, let me point something out to you. It used to be called global warming, and
It's still
now
called that.
after
You can call it either one.
no, it used to be called. They used to just go by global warming. Well, now when all these temperatures started changing, and and they couldn't explain that, it went from global warming to climate change.
Yeah. But when they
And that, we've not done some damage to, our atmosphere. Um, I do believe that, but I don't believe it's as severe as what a lot of these people put it out to be.
well, it is also a natural cycle.
I think, yeah, yes, and the Earth goes through natural heating and cooling cycles. I think a lot of it, some of these people are in it just to make a dollar.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of scientists who say, no, it's not.
Yeah, but compared to the ones that do, no. But I don't know.
Yeah, I can't wait for those casts to come off. Well, I like how you said that night too. That when I first started in on about why didn't he shoot him coming up to Houston, you said, "Oh, I knew you was coming in to throw leather."
Oh yeah, you came right out of the gates.
Oh, I came out of the gate swinging.
Yeah, right out the gates, which was actually a good technique. It was a good blueprint.
Oh, I had to. I knew I had to come out swinging on that.
Yeah. But you agree that the reason why he didn't take that shot is it wasn't a smart shot. Not saying it wasn't a good shot. It
What I
wasn't.
forgot to bring up in that was the other fingerprints that were found on the boxes.
Yeah.
There were other fingerprints that was found on the boxes,
Yeah, yeah.
and I forgot what one of the guys' names were. I think it was, um, I really forgot what the other guy's name was, but he was supposedly a CIA agent.
Well, there was one fingerprint that went unidentified for a while, and that's the one you're talking about. Um, and yeah, there was speculation that it was a CIA agent. Z, what up?
And and I'm the one of the ones too that I never brought up the three tramps.
Yeah. I mean, dude.
I mean, for them to say it was Howard Sturgis and E. Howard Hunt, and
And
I
Woody
mean,
Harrelson's dad.
yeah, Woody Harrelson's dad. I mean, let's just think about this realistically. As powerful of a man as E. Howard Hunt was, why would he be out there pulling the trigger?
Why, dude? Because it's not him.
I know it's not him. I mean, that's why it's just ridiculous. But why would E. Howard Hunt be? Why would he even be in Dallas that day?
Well, yeah, I know. Well, there's that. He actually confirmed that he wasn't.
I still love what Walter Matthau said. If I was investigating the case, I'd have rounded up the 100 best shooters and found out which ones were in Dallas that day. You've been duck hunting before. Oswald was a good old-fashioned decoy.
There's the accent again. Good old
And then you
fashioned
got
decoy.
that crazy bullet zigzagging around that hits Kennedy and Conley 7 times. That dog don't hunt. Those Warren boys were picking. Those Warren boys were picking that shit out of Pepper.
Oh, the Kevin Bacon scene is great too.
Oh God, yes it was.
Yeah.
I guess funniest thing is when he goes, I just laugh my ass off when he goes, "You're a goddamn liberal, Mr. Garrison. You don't know shit because you've never been fucked in the ass." He starts to walk off and goes, you're not a bad looking man, Mr.
No, but
Garrison.
what does
Not
he
bad.
say about Oswald though? Oswald, he says something about Oswald.
Who,
We want to talk about
Bacon?
Oswald. Kevin
Silly
Bacon.
little, silly little Oswald didn't know shit. They want to blame it on silly little Oswald didn't know shit.
Oswald.
And his character was based on 3 different people.
Who, Bacon?
Yeah, it was based on Perry Raymond Rousseau.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was a combination of 3 different people. It was Perry Raymond Russo, because Perry Raymond Russo was the main one who testified that he was at a party where Dave Ferry, Clay Shaw, and them discussed the triangulation of Crossfire. It was based on him, this Catholic priest. I think he was like a priest and some other guy. They combined 3 characters together to Kevin Bacon, um,
Huh.
make Kevin Bacon's character. And you know it when Kevin Costner and that Lou Ivan went down there to Napoleon's to watch it on TV, and this guy's clapping, going, they should give him a fucking medal. That was
Yeah.
Perry Raymond. That was Perry Raymond Russo. He had a cameo in the movie.
Oh, cool.
And damn, Garrison actually looked just like Earl Warren.
Yeah, that was creepy, man.
Us, dude, as much as I was like, I didn't know it was Garrison at first. And I was like, God, he
Neither
looks
did I.
just.
Hey, you've heard of Stephen King's book 11/22/63, right?
Tell me about it.
You've heard about it, right?
I'd never heard about it till you told me about it.
Dude, it's on. They actually have a show of it too. It's on Hulu. But I have it downloaded. I could send it to you. It's great. It's about a guy
Yeah,
who, huh?
yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's about a guy who becomes friends with a guy who has this portal to go back in time, and the guy that has the portal to go back in time is a JFK researcher nut. He's obsessed with it. But he dies of cancer, so he sends his buddy in the portal, and he goes and he tries to stop. First, he tries to figure out if Oswald was just a patsy or not. So he starts investigating Demorton and all this stuff. And then eventually he has to go into the book depository and stop Oswald. It's great. It's great.
Demorton, that's an interesting character.
I
You
watched
know,
it. I've watched his interviews today, actually.
but I mean, the guy gets subpoenaed to testify for the House Select Committee on Assassinations and then blows his brains out the day
I
before he's supposed
watched
to
his
testify.
interviews today, like his earlier interviews of Oswald.
I mean, doesn't that throw up a red flag to you?
Oh, dude, that's not the only thing that throws up a red flag about him.
I mean, that doesn't tell you he may have known more of what was going on. Because I've always said this right here. I made this point with my friends. I said, if Oswald fired all 3 shots and killed Kennedy, that still does not prove there was not a conspiracy.
See, that's yeah, I agree. It doesn't prove that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, because it cannot prove that there was somebody else that did not help him or did not have knowledge of it or was backing him somehow.
but I think he would have been handled better when he left the depository.
Well, there's, you know, ways to look at that too. I mean, and we'll get into this when we go to Tippett. So, he hustles into his boarding room, gets his jacket, and then starts walking. Where was he headed?
I guess no one knows.
He was 2 blocks from Jack Ruby's apartment.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that's where he was going.
Doesn't mean he wasn't going there either. I mean, was he
Yeah.
going there to hold up, hole up?
Uh,
So then he kills Tippett, reverses, and goes to Texas. Goes to the movie theater. I mean, that seems like a prearranged meeting point.
well, no, because why wouldn't he have gone to that prearranged meeting to begin with?
Uh, I mean, there's different ways to look at that. Maybe he was headed somewhere else to be picked up, taken there. Like, and I'll get into this Tippett, and then something goes wrong, and the next rendezvous point was the Texas School Book, or excuse me, the theater.
Yeah.
I mean, because in something like this right here, you're going to have other. If something goes wrong, you're going to have other uh, outs. Okay,
Yeah.
this plan failed. Okay, we go to plan B now.
Yeah.
We go to
Yeah.
plan C.
See, obviously, I'm of the opinion that Oswald acted alone, but when he killed Tippett, that's what fucked him up. Because then he was just fucking running for his life, not only from killing the president, but from killing an officer too. So,
Where was he headed?
what, after the Tippett killing?
Or just when he left the boarding house, where was he going to? He had to. I mean, he had to be headed.
He
Well, he
had,
was just walking aimless.
you
He
know,
was
he had to
just going
be
to walk
heading, he
aimless.
had to be heading somewhere.
Right. So I mean, and that's where I go back. If he was the lone assassin that doesn't prove he was a conspiracy, I think if he was, then he was going to meet up with somebody to get him out of the country or to get him out of Dallas. I mean, you can't tell me he was just going in there, got his 38 revolver, and then was just going to walk aimlessly around the street till he got picked up.
Man, he could have been walking to Ruth Payne's. Who knows? For an alibi. I don't know. We'll never know that.
No, we won't. And I mean, if he just would have had a trial, all this would be put to rest.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they said that after Ruby shot him and he was in the ambulance going to Parkland, that one of the police officers said to him, "Hey, son, do you have any last words? Do you want to say anything? Do you want to say anything?" And Oswald kind of looked at him, thought about it for a second, and then just shook his head no.
See, I don't believe that because I've watched this video that goes all the way through it from the time that he shoots him, and they go, Oswald's just been shot, Oswald's been shot, and it shows the ambulance coming in, and at that point, they say Oswald is unconscious. He's now turned ashen and gray, so I don't think Oswald ever was conscious after he shot him. I think his body went into shock, and he was bleeding out, and he lost consciousness.
Yeah, and that shot, it was so fatal. Like
Yeah, point blank range right into the gut.
it hit everything bad that you could possibly
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah, I think it was Dr. Crenshaw I was reading about. He said it was like when they went in there and they cut his stomach open, it was like opening up an envelope with water in it, just blood gushed everywhere, and it went through like his liver, his pancreas, I mean everything, and they just couldn't stop the bleeding.
Yeah. So, you been watching any NBA?
Now, I don't really get into NBA till it gets to playoff time.
Who do you think's going to take it this year?
Got to go with Golden State.
Are you?
Yeah. Or I don't know, man. The Celtics playing pretty good too.
Yeah, they are playing good. Um, who's that other team that's doing great in the West?
Mm. Well, I don't know, man. I really haven't, like I said, followed it that close.
But you don't think Cleveland's going to get it?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they got back in it, but uh, I still got to go with I still got to go with Golden State.
Yeah, Steph Curry, he's lethal, man.
Oh God, he's. I mean, yeah. I mean, like if I had my choice right now, I'd take Steph over LeBron.
You think he's the greatest three-point shooter of all time?
I don't know, man. Steve Kerr was pretty damn good.
Reggie Miller was good too.
Yeah, Reggie Miller's pretty
Larry
good.
Bird.
Steve Kerr was money.
Yep, Larry Bird was money.
Yeah, Larry Bird was money.
Ray Allen, money.
Larry Bird would tell you what he was going to do and then do
Yeah.
it
Where, tell you everything about it.
and talk shit the whole time.
I'm gonna do it right here, right here,
I mean, I love that on Christmas Day. I mean, told Reggie Miller on that timeout, we're fixing to
right
run a
here,
screen. I'm going to catch
right
it
here.
right
I'm
here.
doing
I'm going to catch the screen right here, and I'm going to drain this three. And he did it and ran by him and said, "Merry fucking Christmas."
it. And he's a man of very little words too.
I wished he would have stayed into coaching, man.
Why didn't he?
I don't know. He's coached the Pacers for 3 years. And he said he just wanted to coach 3 years, and that was it. And he got them to the finals, and I don't know why.
Well, he's a country boy, man. He likes to be on his tractor, and I remember in Boston when he was playing for the Celtics, you used to be able to drive by his house and just watch him. He'd be mowing his lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you got that 4-5 laying around. Sexy
Right here, my
ass.
friend. Right here. I've got that. I got all of them laying around.
I love that one.
I don't know if you've seen this post that I put up there. Like, I love memes and put up there. And they had Obama saying, what was that? Uh, if we pass more gun laws, we'd reduce crime. And they got this baby saying, and if stupid could fly, you'd be a jet.
Oh man, Obama gets too much hate, man.
Yeah, I think it's a lot because he's black. To be honest
Oh,
with you,
that's definitely part of it.
I mean, there's so many people that couldn't stand it. But I hate some people to say that oh, he was treated this way because he was black. Well, the guy got elected easily twice, okay,
Yeah,
and he got elected by white people. So don't hand me this whole stuff that
yeah, that's a
his
good
whole
point. That's a
administration was.
good point.
I mean, he beat McCain by 10 million votes, and he pretty
No,
much
he still gets a lot of hate, though. I mean,
does. I mean, I personally I like Obama.
I liked him too, man. I don't think he was that bad.
I mean, I don't.
We got Bin Laden under his belt. Chris, come on, jump in. What's going on, Chris? Type something. Request again. It's not letting me add you.
So I don't know what happened. No, I don't think he was that bad. I think there was a lot of mistakes that he made, but the guy did inherit a train wreck, and
Yeah, sure.
I think he was one of the worst foreign policy presidents we ever had. I think he was very weak in those matters. Um, Hillary Clinton, tried to get him to get more involved, taking care of ISIS. But I mean, the guy had a lot going against him. He had a Republican Congress who wouldn't work with him.
Yeah.
Um, I think Obamacare was a complete disaster. Um,
Well, I mean, it's you can't expect something like that to be perfect from the jump.
no, and I don't. I think it was something that should have been tweaked instead of just saying, okay, we're just going to
Yeah,
throw the
I
whole
agree.
thing.
I agree.
And he even said that that this is not perfect. We're going to need to tweak it in time. But Obama's all right. And I still don't love him like my boy Trump. Yeah, I love me some Trump.
I know you do. I don't hate him.
Somebody asked me today, they said, why'd you vote? I said, I just like him. I said, that's a man's man. That's a John Wayne type. I said that his bravado appeals to me. I'd follow him to hell and back.
I think his bravado is what got him the gig.
Oh, absolutely, dude. The guy's a rock star, man. I mean, when they would take when they, they put him on when they would take him off a teleprompter and let him freelance. I mean, he would have those crowds worked into a frenzy. And those debates, man. Do you remember that? I don't know how much you watched them, but um, I mean, it was the best one-liner in history. And him and Hillary was debating, and Hillary goes, it's just awfully good that somebody with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country. And Trump looked at her, nodded, and he goes, "Because you'd be in jail."
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that one.
Do you remember the ones when he got into it and Christopher Walsh let it get out of control? Christopher Walsh goes, "I got a policy question for you, Mr. Trump." And Marco Rubio goes, "Let's see if he answers about it." And Trump said, "Don't you worry about it, I will." And Christopher Walsh started giggling. He goes, "Don't you worry about it, little Marco." And he goes, "Well, let's hear it, Big Don." He goes, "Don't you worry about it, little Marco, I will." And this just starts spiraling out of control. He goes, "This guy, the people in his own state don't like him. He has the number one voting record." And Christopher Walsh is like, "Gentlemen, gentlemen, we got to do better than this." I mean, it just spiraled. I mean, it was so fucking hilarious the way it spiraled out of control.
He's funny.
And there was another one too, man, because he was one of the great one-liners. Because they had Cruz and Rubio beside him, and he goes, he said in something like he said, you're both getting beat very badly. He goes, but keep swinging, man, swing for the fences. And um, Trump looks at him and Cruz going, and Trump goes, "Well, I'm beating you awfully bad." And Cruz goes, "But you can't beat Hillary." And he goes, "Well, hey, if I can't beat her, you're really going to get killed, aren't you?"
You know, it was stupid the whole thing about the grab her by the pussy thing.
Oh my God,
That
man.
got blown out of proportion so badly.
Dude, well, that on the rounds at work that day, and it came across my phone about this breaking news. I was like, oh God, I was like, I got to hear this. So I go home and I listen to it. I listened to it a second time, and I listened to it a third time, and I was like, that's it. I said, I
Yeah.
hear that conversation like 15 times a day. I said,
And
women talk like that. That's
I'm not
it.
even a fan, dude, but like I gotta admit that they fucking railroaded him on that.
But it really didn't hurt him.
I know, but they fucking took that too far.
They took it way too far. I mean, he goes, and Trump goes, "You're a star. You can do whatever you want to." He said, "You can grab him by the," and Billy Bush goes, "Yeah, you can do whatever you want to." And Trump said, "You can grab him by the pussy."
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a couple boys talking.
He doesn't really grab bitches by the pussy.
Yeah, and they tried to say he was promoting sexual assault and all that shit.
Oh, that's the ultra liberals, man.
Yeah, that's the ultra liberals, man.
They want to soften the whole world up. They want to nerf the world.
I see this meme that got put out the other day, and I thought it was great. It said, 1300s, I've died of black plague. 1800s, I'm working 16 hours a day. 1900s, I'm off to fight a great war. 2000s, I'm offended.
Goddamn millennials.
Goddamn millennials, them stupid little entitled bastards.
Ante up, Donnie. Put your cards on the damn
Ante up,
table.
Donnie. I don't know. Ante up, Donnie. Put your cards on the table, boy.
No, the damn table.
I said damn table. Ante up, Donnie. Put your cards on the damn table.
So there are no planes.
So there weren't no planes, or what I say hit the buildings.
Who was flying them? The pilots?
Yeah, who flew in the building? The pilots? No, I tell them. So what you gonna tell me is, I said the government went out and recruited 19 hijackers to come over here and fly planes into a building.
That's what.
They went out, I mean, God, we should have went to war with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get down to the brass tactics of it, I mean, that's where they came from. That's where we
I'll tell you
financed. That's
one
where
thing
we
that was weird. One thing that was weird is that they found that passport at the bottom of the towers.
Yeah. Yep, that was.
I mean, everything was pulverized.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So
Mm. Well, man, I think I'm fixing to have to get some sleep here pretty soon.
yeah, that's why I wanted to. I don't know if you heard about it, but over in California, a guy and his wife are on their honeymoon, and you know they got shark infested waters over there, right?
Right.
Great whites.
Yeah.
All right, they're swimming, and the guy gets attacked in front of his new wife, and she said like after he was attacked, like she went to like help him to like find his body. Nothing was left of him. Like this thing just came up and just swallowed them whole. Like they were married for like 2 days.
God.
Jesus,
Awful. You know, I go down to Pensacola a lot, and
nothing was left of him. Like
I
God,
go I go down to Pensacola a lot, and the water gets kind of deep. Then you get out there those burns, and then you
yeah,
walk
yeah,
out
yeah.
past. So me and one of my friends out there walking one day, and we got out there, and it's about waist deep. He goes, "We need to turn back." He said, "We're starting to get in shark waters."
For real though. But I don't think y'all got white sharks down there, right?
I don't think so now.
No, but still, there's sharks are sharks.
Yeah, I don't want to be. I don't want to tangle with any of them.
Razor sharp teeth and shit, man.
Mm-mm.
All right, so I'll upload this
Okay.
podcast number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, God, how many viewers or subscribers you say we'd have to get before we started getting paid?
100.
100. All right.
It's not
So
that
we
you
got to start.
start getting paid. It's 100, and then they'll allow you to put sponsors on, and from the sponsors, we have two options. We can read the sponsors, we can read them, or we can let them do their advertisements at the beginning of our podcast. Either way, that's how we make money.
Okay. Well, let's start posting on Facebook, asking all of our friends to subscribe.
Yeah, I'll post it right now. You post it on yours.
Okay. And what channel? What I put it
It's
again?
the MC channel hosted by Mike and Chris.
The MC channel hosted by Mike and Chris. Okay.
All right.
The MC channel hosted by Mike and Chris. All right. I'll post that right now.
All right, brother.
All right. Talk to you later, friend.
All right.